made it. All right, boom. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Banya. As usual, got my partner in crime, Dana Lundquist, and today we've got Peter. Hit me with your last name.
Williams.
Irish, English, or
I think
Scottish? Welsh. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. My neighbor. I'm Cornish, so
okay.
yeah.
Nice.
Right up the street from me. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
good to
Peter
see
is
you,
a BJJ Blue belt over at Aries Paradise Valley, and savage human being. A little bit of wrestling, I believe. At least you act like it. No wrestling.
No grappling.
Well,
nothing.
Well, you've taken to it very well, and savage blue belt. So
Thank you.
welcome to the Banya.
You're training at Proving Ground too.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
You got dual membership.
So yeah. Ruben, has kind of said, the head coach over there. He's like, me and Kabe have an understanding that our guys can kind of come and go.
Nice.
And it's all good between them. They got like a personal thing. So,
Sweet.
yeah.
Well, that's pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you live way out on the west side, right?
Yeah, I'm like 5 minutes away from Proving Ground.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
What classes do you normally hit there? They're mostly no-gi, is what Drew
They
was
are
saying, right?
They are mostly no-gi. They have, I think, gi 2 days a week. Don't ask me what days. I
He
think
said
it's-
Thursday, Friday.
That sounds sounds right. I know Drew, our old no-gi coach, really awesome. He's got one class that I know that he teaches there on Wednesdays, no-gi.
Mm-hmm.
So are you still mostly training over here at Aries?
Yeah.
PB? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
like 4 days a week.
Nice.
We really hit Proving Ground for the open mat on
Okay.
Sundays because, Carly and I are usually busy, but Sundays we have time to,
Right.
open mat.
Yeah, you guys are married or no?
Not
Okay.
yet.
So yeah, we should say your lady. She also does. Is she a
Yes,
blue belt?
she
yet?
is a blue belt.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So boom.
Yeah.
Household of savages.
That's right.
Dude.
yeah,
That's what's up.
she's awesome too. You guys started about the same time.
Yeah, I started a little earlier than her. I think maybe we were both training for a marathon actually.
Oh, okay.
Her a half marathon, me a marathon. And she was like, I don't want to join until I finish this race. And I was like, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I was like 4 months before her.
Nice.
Okay.
So how did that play out then? I'm curious because probably most households like mine, my wife can't stand how much I talk about jiu-jitsu and all that, and probably would take a miracle to get her in a room, you know what I mean? But so how did that work out for you?
Yeah, actually not too bad. She's an athlete. She did sports in high school. I think she was a thrower, track and field.
Mm-hmm.
So she's always been to sports in general. And one day I was like, hey, I signed up for this gym. And she was like, what the hell? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, all right, well, I'm not going to do it now because I'm practicing for running this half marathon. But afterwards, I'll try it out. And
Yeah.
the rest is history.
Boom. Well,
Yeah.
That's easy then, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we're glad you're all the way over here at formerly Greywolf when you started. But what got you all the way over here when you lived so close to a few other gyms?
So we moved just a year ago. So
Okay.
when I started, we were still over here. I just honestly Googled Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, dude? I Googled Jiu-Jitsu and I was like, what's the closest place to me? And I've heard you guys talk about the Instagram ad. I never saw anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people all the time I feel so
just
lucky.
a lucky Google search.
Dude,
Yeah.
I feel like the luckiest dude
Did you
ever.
hit the get lucky button on Google?
I probably
Must
yeah.
have.
I must have, yeah.
Do they still have that? I haven't seen that one.
think they do,
Yeah,
yeah.
nice.
I don't use Google anymore, so I don't know. But
Yeah, you're a DuckDuckGo
Duck,
guy.
yeah,
Or
what is
Brave.
Brave?
Yeah,
I'm a Brave,
Brave,
bro. Yeah.
How do you like Brave?
It's good. I mean, it works just fine. I guess I don't compare anymore. Like when I do search, compare the searches to see how different they are. But I've gotten used to it, so I'm fine with it. It's a good browser, so I'm
Yeah.
good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been. I guess Kabe must have stopped doing the ads on Instagram
Yeah.
at some point after 3 years ago when most of the other people
Yeah.
found it. But who knows?
I wonder if he knows they even worked.
Oh,
They
he sure
must
does.
have,
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
we all told him like, "Yep, saw it on Instagram." So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm always skeptical of advertising, like how much it actually works.
Oh,
but clearly it does.
Are we doing the water early?
But
I
What do you
guess
think?
we're gonna get some water
Yeah,
on the rocks
yeah.
because
Ollie,
Ollie is gonna hit us with it and then probably bounce out.
yeah, it's actually a good thing. Let's get a nice, good. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go
dude.
for it.
Smoke your own face out. Although he's all wet, he's probably feeling good right now. What's up, dude? All right, welcome to the podcast, Ollie.
The menace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How old is Ollie?
So he's 5. So a little quick funny story. So I was teaching him how to kick a football the other day. Like we were kicking, my daughter had us build a pull-up bar and it's got like 2 posts. And so we were playing like field goal, right? And so I was holding the football for him. And then I was like, all right, my turn. And he held it for me the first time. And then the second time and every time after, he thinks it's just funny to do the Charlie Brown, like pull the football. Like he's never seen, Charlie Brown or anything. But like he just instinctively is a menace to society.
That's
and
hilarious.
I just take the ball and daddy one
yeah, you took the football out before I could get there.
and check it.
Yeah,
Classic
that sounds
Ollie.
about right.
So that's what I'm working with. But boom, you got any tournaments coming up? Sorry to steal that one from you.
Oh, you're good. Yeah,
I just
that's
signed up
usually-
for one, so I'm
that's
excited.
usually-
There we go.
Which one do you sign up for?
June 21st,
Okay.
20th, I think.
That's not Master World, is it?
No,
Master
that's
Wars is in,
August.
That's August.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
in
planning on
August.
doing that too. But yeah, I was trying to find the next available one. And is there one in May?
There may be not. It's not an AZBJJL or Jiu-Jitsu World League, but there
Okay.
might be like a Naga or AGI or I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta. Try. I want to do one next month too. But yeah, so
Yeah, I don't have any on the horizon. I was gonna do World League in not March. I think it was September was the
It's
last
this week.
one.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
I was gonna do it back in September. I kind of got sick and got injured right before it. Probably just bad training leading up to it on my part. I think I was just pushing it too hard. I'm that kind of in between weight of 168 and 175, and my first 2 comps were at 182 or 181, 182, whatever it is.
Okay, 181.
And I was like, let's see if I can get down.
yeah.
And I was on pace. I was like dropping. I think I got down to like 168 without a gi. So I was gonna make it, but then I started to feel terrible. Started to notice like I don't know what I did, something to my groin, and I was
You
like,
pulled it too hard.
I may have. I don't know, man. Yeah, crank. No,
No, I hear you.
it just was bad.
Yeah, and it's tough getting down if you're. I mean, because you were about the same size, and when I started jiu-jitsu, I was 192, and I got down to like walking around 175 pretty easily. So I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get down to 168 weight class, and did that for all of white belt. And even my first blue belt tournament was 168, and then I was like, I'm tired of this. It's just taxing on the body. And then for that week before, I'm trying to cut weight to get underneath, and I'm just like
how much each week were you cutting before those tournaments?
So I was walking around at probably 172, 173, so it wasn't too bad. But for that, the gi weighs 3-4 pounds ish.
Yeah.
So to be safe, you want to be like 165. And I was able to do it like a bunch of times for tournaments. But as I got stronger, I was putting on muscle weight.
It was hard to drop that weight. I imagine.
And I don't want to have to drop the weight just
Yeah.
because I felt strong. I was
Yeah.
good, and I was like, screw it. I'm going to go and just do 181 and just not cut anymore. And I felt great, and I'm sticking with that, although I'm getting close to the 195 weight class, so I got to get back to my diet
Yeah,
and get back to it. So
yeah, it's the same for me, man. Like, I feel like as you get older, I'm 32, so I know you guys are a little bit older, but I feel like as you get older as a dude, it's not about the workouts, it's about the diet.
Yeah,
you
for
really,
sure.
You really got to have the diet, and if you've got a target weight you're trying to make.
absolutely, and that's the thing. Like, we work so hard and burn so many calories in jiu-jitsu. It's
Yeah.
not that difficult for the workout.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's for me. I mean, it's ice cream and sugar.
Yep.
I got a sweet tooth. It looks like you may be the same way.
Oh
but-
my god, man, yeah. That's terrible.
So yeah, and when I was doing it, I was like beef, rice, cottage cheese, eggs, cheese. That was like my diet. That's all I ate all the time. I felt great too. Satiated, was never like super hungry. So I just got to get back to that. I kind of get a little lazy recently. So
Tell me about it. It's tough, man. Yeah. And similar to you, like the 2 competitions I had at 181, I didn't feel like the guys were any stronger than me. Like maybe they looked a little bigger because I think one tournament I was like 176, and then the other one I was like 175.
yeah.
So they maybe looked a little bit bigger, but I didn't feel like they had me, in size or strength necessarily.
I felt in every single tournament that I've been the strongest guy in my bracket at 181.
Yeah.
And you're at least as strong as I am.
Yeah.
I was telling John Hinton the same thing. Like, he is stronger than every buddy in our division. Like, no doubt. So it's not about that. It's then just making sure you keep your cardio and knowing you're stronger. So then it's out of your mind. You're like, cool, I'm stronger than this guy. My jiu-jitsu's got to be on point now.
Yes.
So, which is good.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, we're excited to see you compete again.
Yeah, I just...
Tell us about your competitions you have done.
Yeah, so first one I did, I believe it was the Grand Canyon, I think. Yeah, that was it. Because I think that was October of 2023, and I started April of 2023.
Okay.
And I went out there and, like, I was Master 1. First dude I won against looked way older than me. I was like, man, this guy's pretty big. He looks pretty mean. We get out there, and it was, like, pretty even. I did pretty well. It was pretty back and forth. I think I ended up winning on points. After the end of the match, he was like, dude, you're a lot tougher than I thought you'd be. I was like, oh, thanks, man. I don't know if that's like an insult or, I'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
You look like a little pussy.
Yeah, right. That's what I figured he wanted to say. But, I was like, cool. So
backhanded compliment.
I think I broke my pinky in that match, though. So after the match, I still can't bend it fully. But after the match, like the adrenaline dump and everything, it kind of really hit me. And it was a tough, battle. So that second match was against a guy who, after the match, he was like, hey, man, you did really good, but you're probably not going to see me again. I'm about to get promoted. So I was like, oh, shoot, I don't feel that bad going out and losing to someone who's about to get their blue. So, he beat me, but I think I got second in the tournament.
Nice.
So, and the second tournament, similar thing. I won my first two. Then I lost the gold medal match, so I got silver both times.
Okay. All right, well, gold is on the horizon.
Gold's the goal. Next tourney I sign up for.
Hell yeah, well.
Should we do the push
remind
for
us.
That? Can you make that June tournament?
Is it the World League one or the because I think they're both on the same day or they're that same weekend, I want to say.
Oh, no.
So we got to check that.
I don't remember which one I signed up for.
But yes, I'd like to. I got to make sure my toe is healthy. I don't know if I mentioned to you, Peter, but I either broke my pinky toe or I tore a tendon in my pinky toe. So
man.
I haven't gone to the doctor, and they're going to tell me just to stay off of it, which there's nothing you can do with it besides put it in a boot, which I'm not going to do.
Right.
So I'm just going to let it heal a little bit and see how it goes. But yeah, so I'm going to plan on doing another one. So if we can get the gym to do everybody sign up or a lot of people, it sounds like some of the zombie crews already signed up. Which would be great. I know Hinton missed the tournament this Saturday he was supposed to do, and he missed the deadline to sign up. So he's going to sign up for the next one. Sounds like a lot of people will. So we'll shoot for
That's
June.
That's what I'll do. The next one that like a bunch of people sign up for, because like you said, it'd be cool to take a trophy home.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You can do it for sure. I mean, I did well in my first blue belt tournament. I did end up taking gold in that. Then I lost the next couple of tournaments. But yeah, man, you've got the skill, you've got the strength to win that division for sure.
Was that one that you got your first gold? Was that the one? That was World League, wasn't it? March last year. That's when we met at your place.
Yes,
and
it was.
RB came by. Yeah,
It was March of last year. Was the one I got that I got the gold. Yeah. That was fun. Yeah, we did a little pre-tournament brunch.
Yeah.
Had some breakfast burritos.
That's right.
The nice thing about the World League tournament is we all went and weighed in the morning of, and then you've got 5 or 6 hours before you go and compete. So we all get to hang out a little bit. That was great.
Yeah.
And I thought about that. I was like, man, I got to do that again sometime for one of these World League ones.
Did you do the IVs that he brought? I forget.
I did. Yeah, I did that.
So I've never done that, and I kind of know a little bit about it. But how did you feel like a difference or like?
It's hard to tell. You definitely feel really good after getting the IV because you're fully hydrated. Plus, all the other vitamins and everything that's in that, it just rejuvenates all your cells in your body.
Yep.
I don't know how much better I felt in terms of physically. For the tournament, I get so amped up that it's hard to notice the difference.
Yeah.
So is it worth it? I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
It's definitely great to just fully rehydrate your body via IV as opposed to just drinking water.
Right.
So it was great. I mean, it's definitely something that that we could do again if we get a bunch of people to come over. And my girlfriend actually also does the IV stuff, so we can get multiple people set up with that.
That's nice. Two stations now. Yeah.
Exactly. Give RB a little bit of help with that. But,
nice.
So yeah, we can plan on doing that. Actually, that'd be great if it's the World League one. That way we can hydrate or weigh in and then come back and hydrate and whatnot.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah.
So you're not from Arizona. You said you're from Ohio. Is that right?
Yeah, born and raised in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio. Shout out.
All right.
I moved to Arizona in 2018 in the dead of summer.
Perfect timing.
I don't know if you guys were here, or I'm sure you were in 2018. It was like one of the hotter summers, I think, too. I think the week I moved, it was like 118 or something.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "How you doing in the heat?" I was like, I had no frame of reference. Like, I didn't know how hot it got. So afterwards, everyone was like, "How'd you do last summer?" And I was like, I mean, it sucked, but if that's as hot as it gets, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
You know? And we've had one other summer since then. I feel like that was really bad, but you know, you learn to deal with it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I don't know if it was last summer, like last year, or
It was 2 summers ago.
It was really bad, right? Yeah, that's what I
last
thought.
summer wasn't as bad.
It was hot consistently last summer, but it wasn't like blazing hot. Like I think we hit a record for number of days over 100, but we just didn't hit like that 115, 118 as often. So yeah, it's brutal. So what brought you out here?
Yeah, so I was like 3-4 years out of school in Ohio, and you know, after college, some of my friends were moved away, or they were like kind of into other stuff, and I don't know. One day I was like, you know, at my job, they were like, "Hey, we got this new new position opening up," and I was like, well, you know, I could stay here in Ohio, not a whole lot going on, like, you know, not a lot of family left there, not a lot of friends, and I was like, why not? Let's just pack up and see what happens in Arizona, and I just went ahead and took that plunge, and here we are, right?
Sweet.
Yeah.
Glad you made it.
Yeah, right? Me too.
And Carly came out with you.
No, so Carly actually came out in 2021. I knew her prior. We weren't dating at the time, but we like kind of got to know each other more actually after I came out here, and then did like a little distance thing, and in 2021 she decided to move out. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And here we are 4 years later.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That's
Congrats.
right. I feel privileged to like know how it was here before COVID, because I feel like it's kind of before COVID, after COVID timeline now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you can actually see the difference versus just starkly coming out here in the middle of COVID or right after it happened.
Exactly. So. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I'm just really thankful that I found, like, you know, Aries, Greywolf, just a good group of people. I've heard you say it like a million times, Luke. You know, you probably came for the workout, came for like the grappling aspect, and what's kept you is like honestly just the people and the connections in the community. And I feel like the same way. I was so excited about like, oh, jiu-jitsu is gonna be cool, such like a badass, you know, martial art. And now I just find myself thinking like, oh, I wonder how whoever, you know, so and so is doing. You know?
Yeah, it's both, right? It is fun, it's badass, but then it's also just such a good group of men and women.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that community aspect of if you don't see somebody for, you know, a week, they miss a few classes, and somebody messages like, hey, where you at?
Right.
Where you at? Like, and that happens. It's awesome. It's nice that there's that accountability.
Yep.
But it's also just, you know, checking in. Things okay? You know, we've seen some people come and go, and we want everybody to keep coming back as long as they're good training partners, and almost everybody is.
That's on that same point. That's one of the things that I actually have really, I guess, not known that I've needed, but has helped me is jiu-jitsu. Just the nature of it, like you said, people come and go, and it's like you might. Because I think you get really close to people in a short amount of time doing jiu-jitsu, because it's such a high trust environment. You can kind of get, I don't know, a little, not too connected, but you end up missing people a lot more than you think you do after you've only been around them a few months, and all of a sudden they're just gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey man, I moved, or hey man, you know, whatever life situation popped up. And it's really helped me, like, come to grips with, you know, people are going to come and go. Yeah. You know, in your life, that's just how it is. And you know, I guess it's cliche, but jiu-jitsu has actually been a good, like, teacher for me for that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to test the boundaries of our friendships tomorrow. Are you coming to the Choke Vinny event?
I'm not familiar with the choke video.
There we
Well,
go.
are you not on Instagram?
I am.
Okay. Well, tomorrow we're doing it's the comedy show after
Okay.
class.
Okay.
You didn't
No,
see that?
no.
Oh shit. All right. Well, we'll talk a little bit more
Okay,
about it after
okay.
the pod, but yeah, basically we're doing like are you familiar with Kill Tony?
Yeah, I love
So
Kill
it's
Tony.
gonna be a version of that.
Okay.
So we're all gonna do a minute and roast each other. Probably mostly that, and then
Nice.
some jokes and stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be interesting. I'm pretty curious to see how this pans out. But yeah, we got some pretty nasty things lined up for
You got some
our morning.
jokes?
Oh yeah,
Yeah?
dude. I'm ready to roast some
You
of
got
these
a
boys
solid
and girls
minute,
on tomorrow.
you think?
I probably got 10 minutes at this point.
Dude,
I've been really enjoying the process of writing
you
jokes.
found your groove, huh?
Well, no, I don't know. They're probably terrible. Well, I don't know. I've been getting some chuckles.
Yeah.
I've tested them out, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to do Ron White recently. He was saying just stop into a gas station and tell the joke to them before you try it out.
nice.
See if you can make a complete stranger laugh. So
Huh.
some of mine are a little bit specific to our jiu-jitsu people. So. But yeah, I'm hoping we're gonna be laughing our asses off
Dude,
tomorrow.
this could be the start of
that's
your
the goal.
comedy career. Man. Who
No,
knows?
I'm good on careers, but just like this, just fun shit, dude. Like
Yeah.
mixing it up, doing weird stuff. My wife is like, "What the hell is wrong with you, dude? Like, can you just chill out for a little bit?" I'm like,
Just stop doing things.
no,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what she said. She's like, "Why are you doing so many things?"
Hobbies, man. You
Yeah,
have to keep life interesting.
right. That's what I say. But
Yeah.
anyways, boom. You feeling all right? You need a little water
I'll
plunge?
take a break.
All right,
Let's
cool.
do a quick cold
hit it.
dip.
Yeah, let's
Boom.
do one.
This episode of the Banya is brought to you by Optimize. Optimize is a health and wellness center run by Jesse Meringue, a fellow training partner of ours. They've got amazing center. They've got your cold plunge, your sauna, the infrared, the hot tub, compression therapy, as well as this PEMF therapy. It's like pulse electromagnetic field. It's amazing. Feels crazy, like you get that electro stim. But the idea is you've got a time in there for an hour to switch between different therapies. You can go from the sauna to the cold plunge to the hot tub. Feels amazing. Luke and I just did that last week, and absolutely, it was incredible. So if you're looking to recover from any sort of athletics or just to feel better, go check out Optimize. And for anybody, the listeners, if you just tell them you heard it on the Banya, they'll give you 50% off your first session. So I believe normally it's $39 for the first session for an hour. So it'll be half that. So go check them out. It's an amazing place.
I'm missing the colder water already.
Yeah, right now, right?
Summertime.
This takes 1 or 2 days of this almost, or I guess 100 degrees today of water isn't quite as cold.
So I took a couple weeks off of not off totally, like I was just going like once a week for the last couple weeks, and like my nipple was rubbed raw from my gi because like it just you lose a little bit of that like
Toughness.
yeah, your skin gets weak real
Yeah,
quick. I was like, damn, dude,
Yeah.
been
That's-
dealing with a busted up nipple.
No rash
up,
guard?
Cora?
No rash guard?
I don't like to wear rash
Why not?
guards. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't either.
I mean, like pretty like in wrestling, like you're basically half naked on. I just like it's kind of normal, and
Yeah.
then like I don't think you can compete in them, right?
You can't. Most
So-
competitions. Some you can. I think World League is okay, but I don't think you can. Definitely not IBJJF, and I don't know if you can with AZBJJL because I think they do basically IBJJF rules. So
I get weirdly
no.
like superstitious too. Like in wrestling, I would always have to tie my right shoe first, like just shit like that too. So like if like something's off, like I don't have my knee pad I liked or whatever, it's just like I get weird about things like that, even though I know they don't matter at all.
How do
I
you
like
know?
to have that routine.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell do I know?
So you were talking about you coming to some of the zombie classes in the morning a little bit.
Yeah, that was last December. Man, I was like, I think that was the first time I met Luke, and I was just saying, like, I really miss getting to go to those, because it was usually, I'd either go Monday or Friday, at least once a week. And I had no excuse to not go, honestly. It was just like I didn't feel like waking up that early, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was saying the times that I went, I noticed like a huge improvement just overall in my game. You know, I'd go to open mats and I'd feel like I would just have success against people that I'd never rolled against. And I feel like that's a pretty honest assessment.
Yeah.
You know, you just, it's different when you roll with someone who you roll against all the time. But when you get like a fresh person that you've never rolled with, you know. And, you know, also, that was the most I'd ever just consistently got beat up. The most on the mats was at those morning classes, just absolute savages. Just big dudes, strong dudes, and Vinny's... I feel like Vinny has a very hammer style of coaching, you know, which I kind of appreciate. I feel like out of all the coaches, his style probably resonates the most with me.
Sure.
So that could have been it, too. That's maybe why I felt like I was improving. His coaching style was... I don't know, something clicked, I guess.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, no, I love it, man. It's you can get 6 rounds in that AM class, and none of them are a break round. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's enough dudes that are our size and weight and skill level that it's just all hard rounds.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about like rolling with different people, like you said.
Yes.
Like you get used to the training partners. You're used to what they do. They're used to what you do. So either you find yourself doing the same thing to them, or them doing the same thing to you, and not working out of different positions. So it's definitely nice. I mean, and you recognize that a lot with open mats as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Random people you don't know, shake hands. You don't know what they're going to do at all.
Right. You
So
don't know their game. They don't know your game. Like, that's actually been one of the huge benefits that I didn't really think about with just going to Proving Ground more. It's funny, I kind of get to try out, like, the techniques that we're learning at, you know, Greywolf on those guys, and conversely, I get to try out those techniques I'm learning over there on some of the guys, just to see, like, hey, you know, if I throw this different part of game at you, how are you going to respond to it? Does it work?
For sure.
Yeah.
Same thing with, like, I've gotten a lot more intentional in my rolls, or I've tried to, at least, where I actually really enjoy rolling with people either like quite a bit smaller than me or quite a bit bigger than me, because you know, with people that are quite a bit smaller than you, there's just certain things that you can't do, there's certain ways you can't move because, you know, you don't want to injure someone. It's, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows you where you're deficient, and it's like, all right, at what point am I just muscling out of things that I'm obviously not going to do on someone like this, and at what point am I, you know, actually doing something correct, and I'm doing like a movement that's, you know, valid, or, like I said, correct, I guess. Same thing with big dudes. There's certain things with big dudes that you can't do, positions you can't get out of, so you got to make sure that your technique is actually correct. You know what I mean? So that's something I've been trying to, like, be very aware of, and not just completely meathead, you know, out of all these submissions or weird positions.
Are you zeroing in on anything right now, specifically?
Honestly, guard passing has been something that I've felt really just insecure and just very lacking in. So just really trying to focus in class when we're learning just any kind of passing. You know, obviously learning there's different things that you can do against different sized people.
That is hard because, like, that's such a blanket statement, like guard passing, and just like because there's so many things that they can do and different looks and everything. It's just like it is hard because it's not like, all right, I got this armbar technique, I'm gonna hit it 1,000 times. It's like you could get into the position to start passing a guard, and you could have so many different looks that it's just a ton to, you know, navigate, and like that's where it's like you could because you're getting so many different looks, it's hard to get the repetition of like, all right, this is, I mean, obviously there are specific guard passes, but it's just a way more complex, you know, position to deal with. I think that's why it's one of the harder ones to
Well, thanks for
get
saying
through.
that. That makes me feel better for, like, feeling as
for
bad
sure.
as I do when I'm trying to pass someone's guard, and I'm like, I can't do anything. you know?
No, it's one of the trickier spots for sure.
Especially someone like you.
Yeah, I've been trying. I hurt my toe actually too, so I've been trying to sit on my ass a little bit more and play some guard. It's been fun.
I've been always meaning to ask you, man, like, you know, there's been some wrestlers that have come and gone. There's been some that have stayed, of course, but the common thing, the common theme I've seen in the wrestler, if you get them on their back for 1 second, they're just not entertaining it. They're just, like, not playing guard. And you are one of the few that I've seen really, like, try to get more comfortable or try to develop that part of your game. So what's, like, just talk me through that. I'm curious, just what's that been like for you trying to, like, get out of that wrestling mindset of, you know, don't let your back cut the
Yeah.
ground.
Well, I mean, part of it's been like wrestling can like it hurts a little more. Like just the I don't want to say damage. Like what am I trying to get at? Like the pressure on your knees, your toes. Like we're not really wearing wrestling shoes, right? It's just like a lot of those movements are just like, to me at this 36-year-old point in my life, like I'm not really,
You're not into it.
Yeah, and honestly, I truly do. The thing that I like about jiu-jitsu is it is all new for me, and so like the learning new things has been the funnest part of it. So yeah, trying to lean into that jiu-jitsu stuff, and also kind of a lazy too. Like not like I was never like the fastest wrestler, but so like certain positions like knee shield I fucking love because it's like I think. Credit to Bino for this. I think I heard it from him, a trench position. So it's like these positions that you can get into where you can kind of rest
Stall
and
a little bit.
not even really stall, but like be in the good or dominant position, but then catch your breath, relax, like Kabe talks, breathe through your nose, just like, and then watch them you use all this energy and get tired. And I can just sit there with a knee shield and their far wrist and sleeve and just kind of like play until I see a hole and just again watch the life drain out of them trying to pass me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's that kind of stuff. It's just like it's super practical. And then also, I mean, like Master Worlds was like a really good learning point for me in my finals match, where like this dude that I went up against in the finals, like I think he hit the same fucking move on everybody. It's a two combo. He'd get on his back and he would just go between an arm bar and a triangle. You just whatever one opened up first, and like that dude probably only fought for like 5 minutes the whole tournament. You know what I'm saying? Like he just like, and I was exhausted by the time I got, because I wrestled the whole time. I was moving, grinding. I was like not really using a ton of jiu-jitsu, and it was just super fucking tiring. And then this dude was just kind of like chilling, like he even like I took him down super easy. Like he didn't really give a fuck, he just was on his back right where he wanted to be, and then boom. So yeah, it's like that. I mean, just alone is, was a lot of food for me to like be like, all right, I would really want to kind of lean even more heavily into, figuring out the jiu-jitsu side of it.
Right. Is that, I'm sorry if I'm asking too many questions. Is that why I don't know if I'm right in saying this, but it seems like you've started to favor gi? Like
I did from the get-go.
Not so much anymore? Or?
No. From the jump, I liked gi better. I think it's more complex. It's definitely different. Way more different than wrestling.
That's why you like it?
I think so, yeah, for sure.
See, I thought you'd like no-gi more. I was like, oh, wrestler, no-gi.
I could probably be better at it for sure, but I don't know. Gi's harder for me, and it's a better challenge, and it's more interesting to me for whatever reason. There's just more stuff to do. I do early on. I was like obsessed with like all the Bravo chokes and like all that stuff. So like that was like super fun, dude. Choking somebody out with their own gi, like that's a good time. You know what I mean?
You know what I found, and I haven't done much no gi recently, but I find if I take a little break off of no gi and I go back to doing some no gi, my gi game actually gets better. I don't know what it is, but maybe just not relying on grips and body position more that you have to be aware that you're not as sticky in no-gi, so you have to be able to really maintain solid position. But I find it works. I get much better in my gi if I do that. So, and then I'll taper off right before a tournament, be like, all right, back to gi. But yeah.
And I mean, that said though, actually, dude, Mateus is like, he's probably the one that's kept me more interested in no-gi too, just because like even though I prefer gi more, I actually pretty much just do 2 and 2 every week. I do 2 no-gi and 2 gi for the most part. Like in my ideal week, that's what I'm doing. And so I actually train probably about evenly on the 2. But his like I still learn like every time I go to a no-gi class, I'm always it applies. I mean, it's just a lot of this everything we're learning for the most part, it still helps my gi. So it's like I don't feel like I ever want to skip a no-gi class just because it's no-gi, even if I never competed in no-gi, it's still helpful.
I've noticed that too. That's been one of my favorite things with no-gi is I've actually hit a lot of no-gi moves in gi, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could do this as well as I thought I could.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, well, actually, no, you're good, dude. Mateus is doing the evening classes, right? Yeah. What do you think about his warm-ups?
So, I mean, they're varied, right? He does the circle sometimes, which I kind of like. I've heard you talk about it plenty of times, just from wrestling and beating your body up. I'm kind of, I didn't do that, but I feel very stiff in general. I have an office job, so I have to sit a lot. So I've always felt like I've never been flexible. And that was part of my excuse of never doing jiu-jitsu. I was like, I see these guys doing, these 10P guys doing crazy stuff and go-go's and all that stuff. And I've always told myself, I can't do any of that. I shouldn't ever do jiu-jitsu. But I've actually become way more flexible from doing jiu-jitsu. And that's part of the reason why, I'm sure. It's because those warm-ups that Mateus does sometimes. What I appreciate sometimes in class, I'll like chuckle to myself because I'm like, we're doing one of the movements, as a part of the move that he's showing. And I'm like, oh, there's a method, there's a method to the madness.
Right.
And it's kind of cool to see the full circle,
Well, and he more often than not in night classes doesn't do the circle warm up.
Oh, really?
Because it's, later in the day, people aren't just waking up needing that. So he will sometimes, but a lot of times it's just jumping straight into the 3 lines and getting the...
Oh, okay.
He's been doing it at least once a week.
Yeah.
At least once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good. And honestly, like, with like the running around the mats, doing like the dynamic stretching warm up, he's kind of cut a little bit of that out often, which is great because it gives more time for rolling.
Yes.
Later in the class, you can still get through the different technique, and then have some time for positional spar or rolling.
Yeah,
which is nice. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, no, dude. I mean, it's like everything in those stretches though is so like methodically thought about too. Though, like the one that I'm super terrible at is where you keep this one straight and you try to bend this one in.
Yeah.
But like today we were working on inside trips,
Yeah.
and like that's literally the flexibility you need to pull that move off.
Right.
So a lot of those are, he's not just pulling these out of his ass.
Yeah.
They're
Practical.
very specific to what we're doing. But
Exactly.
yeah, that is weird how we going back to what you were saying, like we like make excuses for things like I'm not flexible enough so I can't do jiu-jitsu, but it's like there's very few things in life I feel like that like you can really give yourself a pass on, like me trying to write jokes or like you jumping into jiu-jitsu randomly.
I want to look at some pictures in your phone that's inside because I heard like a
All right,
creepy
beat it.
sound.
We didn't need that information, but thank you. She does that all the time. Dad, can I ask you a question? Yeah, just ask me the question. I don't need you to ask me if you can ask me a question.
She waits till you're
Hit
in
me,
here
dude.
to ask you.
No, it's you 24/7,
That's
dude.
funny.
Like, and I've told her 1,000 times. You can ask me any question, anytime. You don't need to preface it.
That's funny.
I think Dwight.
It's wild. But yeah, I mean, aside from like, say you're 400 pounds and you probably shouldn't take up rock climbing. I'll give you that, but like, I mean, we have like, there's people of all shapes, ages, and that do jiu-jitsu. So it's just like, those excuses just are void, like we've all seen those people jump into jiu-jitsu and do it at,
that guy.
And
like,
even
that's such an
people older
inspiration.
than Joshua,
Yeah.
even, it's just like, there's, it's not too late for anybody.
There's no excuse.
Well, and for anybody who doesn't do jiu-jitsu listening, or anybody who does, share this with somebody who's thinking about it, because we've all, when we first started jiu-jitsu, at least I know a lot of people, at the beginning I was like, yeah, I need to get into better shape before I start jiu-jitsu. And I said that to Kabe, and he says, the only thing to get you into jiu-jitsu shape is doing jiu-jitsu. And I'm like,
Yep.
really? Okay. So anybody listening, share that with, anybody thinking about it. Is the only way to really get into that shape is to do it. And even then, it's going to take, if you're completely out of shape, it's going to take you a couple months, but you got to keep going. It's a war of attrition. So don't stop. Just keep going and stick with it, and you'll have all the support from everybody at the gym for sure.
Absolutely.
That's so true, dude. I had a Russian coach or Ukrainian coach when I was in college that came to me, and like he changed the way I did cut weight. He was, he'd be watching us like running, being on an Aerodyne bike, like all this shit, and he's just like, "What are you doing? Like, you're not a runner. You're a wrestler. Wrestle to cut weight." Then you just throw on some sweats and you just lightly 20%, 30% just roll with your partner, and it's like your body it's used to those motions, and like if you like Dana said, if you want to get into jiu-jitsu shape, you got to do jiu-jitsu. And like that was just an extra thing because like if you're a competitive wrestler or jiu-jitsu guy and then you got to run 10 miles on a treadmill just to make weight, like that's probably not the best move for you, unless you're just a runner person,
Right.
which most of us probably aren't. I know I'm not. And it's like your body's going to get sore in other ways doing that it wouldn't if you just drop the weight wrestling, right?
Absolutely.
So that was a big turning point for me in how I managed my weight. For all that was like, all right, I'm just gonna do what I already do. My body mechanics are set up for this.
Was it easier to start dropping weight, or like what?
For sure?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't getting as sore. You know, I wouldn't tweak like a knee, like just like little things. Like running, in my opinion, is super bad for you.
Yeah.
Well, and when you do jiu-jitsu, it's all the little stability muscles and all the muscles that you don't use doing anything else, that you're burning tons of calories because those muscles are being used and they're being exercised in such a way that's going to get you stronger, even if you don't realize it. So it's strength in a functional way, and using the muscles that. Like hips, like you talk about, Luke, and that was me. Like my hips were super tight when I started for probably a good year, until finally like a lot more stretching, a lot more mobility, and then the hips just kind of came along with it.
Yeah.
So
same. I was the exact same, man, and I still got a long way to go. But it's like
We all do.
Yep.
I'm seeing improvement, so it's like it's easier to go through that difficult.
We don't really have a Gumby in our gym, huh?
Mateus.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, absolutely. I'm talking like people in our like class, as far as like either purple belt or below, type thing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we don't have any like freak flexible people.
No.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah. Those people are nightmares to roll with, I'm sure.
Yeah. Luis, I think you may have. I don't know who rolled with him, but he was pretty flexible. I rolled with him a few times.
Oh my god, it's crazy how flexible.
Him from Costa Mesa, I think.
I think he trains in novice. I think he trains in novice.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's Gumby.
Oh yeah.
He's
Well, and he's been training since he was like
a kid,
8 years old or something like that.
Oh yeah. I did. He was teaching when I first started. I went to one of his Saturday classes. Yeah. All right, I gotta get in the full plunge again.
That's cool. Yeah.
What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you in your life?
Good one.
Man, that's a tough one. One time, recent memory, I guess, I got a little too drunk on the Salt River.
Oh yeah.
And had
that'll happen.
a near death experience, could say.
Yeah.
Not, just
blasted.
The part where there's those cliffs, right? And you can jump off.
Yep.
I was like, I'm just not realizing how much I drank. I was like, I'm just gonna swim against the current and get to the wall. Didn't happen.
Oh no.
Realized like, this isn't good. Like I'm pretty tired. Like I'm pretty
Fading.
wasted. And like luckily someone was like floating by and like reached out and.
Oh, you think you might not have made it, huh?
Dude, there was a point where the terror set in where I was like, this is how people drown, man. Like this is happening. And I was like, is someone around? Like thankfully someone was just floating by.
Oh
yeah.
That was kind of gnarly.
Yeah, dude, people die out there all the time.
Mm-hmm. I've been out there like quite a few times, and I've seen like the cops in those fan boats, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that's what it's been sometimes. And I was like, I'm gonna be one of these people. Like that was a thought going through my head.
Oh wow.
You always hear people. I mean, I didn't like almost drown or anything. I didn't come close, but you think about people saying, "Oh, if I had to die, I'd rather drown." I don't know, man. That sheer terror that you experience right, when you realize it's happening. I don't want to go through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you were up at Havasupai, and they got a little bit of extra water, right? And you a lot of campgrounds got flooded when you were there a year ago.
That was. I wasn't there in 2024. I was there the summer of 2023.
Yeah.
We did have a pretty gnarly flash flood though.
Yeah.
The time that I was there. Similar situation where I was, not 100% in the right state of mind when it happened, so that kind of added to the experience. But yeah, like got to the point where I don't know if you've been there, Luke, but there's like a part of the river where you can like set up camp on one of those islands.
Yeah. Yep.
So I didn't do that. I was like, that's dumb. Saw people doing that, and all of a sudden my buddy came back from the bathroom. He's like, hey dude, I'm like seeing stuff float down the river, like camp chairs and stuff. It was raining, and I was like, yeah, the river's kind of rising. Then, like, a few minutes go by, and it starts to pick up, starts to flow faster, and, we ended up moving our tents and everything, and it didn't get too high, but that was kind of...
Did it get anybody on those islands?
Yeah.
Oh.
We saw like chairs, tents go floating by, coolers. Like they lost all their shit.
Oh wow.
So,
Dude, yeah.
that's just dumb though. Why would you set up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, dude, it is what like one time I was out dirt biking in the desert, just out like Four Peaks, and we were in a wash, and it wasn't raining where we were, but it was raining, up yonder, and then we just see this wall of water. Just it was dry, and then just literally just a like fresh thing of like a 1 foot wall of water. Just I had never seen anything like that before in my life. Yeah, but we were on dirt bikes, so we just went up the hill.
Yeah.
But dude, it just in about 5 minutes, it was just a raging river.
Dude.
It was like, oh shit, this is why these things exist.
Yeah.
It's like they get carved out by all this water, and it happens so fast.
So that's gnarly out there because you're out there. Like I did a Browns Peak once, and I didn't realize the drive. Like that off of, I think it's that Beeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't realize it takes like an hour.
Oh,
like,
to try to get to Four Peaks.
Out
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
If something were to happen,
Oh yeah, yep.
that's it.
Yeah. We were thinking that when I was at Havasupai last May, and we went all the way down the waterfalls from whatever the big Beaver, past Beaver Falls.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's like the waterfall that's later down, and we were jumping off the cliffs, and I'm like climbing off the side of it, and it's pretty steep, and I actually lost my footing and slipped down. Probably fell like 15 feet and landed on a rock, like with both of my feet down, and like smashed my heel pretty bad. Like, fortunately nothing happened. It was just bruised, like a bone bruise.
Yeah.
But after that I was like, okay, we are so far. If something were to happen, there's nothing. Like, there's nothing you can do.
You're getting care flighted out,
right? And even there, like, I don't even know how they'd get into that canyon where we were. It was like deep down, whatever that second fall past Beaver Falls was. But yeah, it was pretty scary. So
dude, I imagine being in one of those slot canyons when it starts like with one of those flash floods. Like, dude, those things are like those narrow ones, like Antelope, right? Is that the
Antelope? Yeah,
dude. Good luck.
I was at Zion a couple years back, just Carly and I, and we noticed the narrows. We noticed the water starting to change colors, and I was like, "Nah, let's go. It's not worth it." And later that day, there was a pretty bad flood.
Yeah.
So I was like, "That's not gonna be me."
Good spot, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to look for rain way off in the distance. Like, you see that, you're like, okay, now we know.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's funny you kind of bring up this topic. I had I think it was back in 2021 during like peak COVID. Carly and I, a bunch of my friends from Ohio, we all flew into Denver, did like a camper van, and then campered van back from Denver all the way to Phoenix. Went through like Utah, hit like a bunch of parks and stuff. I think it was Moab. We were camping. This is probably like, I don't know, 15, 16 people, just a group of young kids, And, everyone's having a good time around the fire at night. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these like 60, 70 mile an hour gusts just start kicking up. This is in the middle of dinner. People are cooking. People are eating. So there's just trash flying around everywhere. It's dry as a bone. So our fire just starts kicking up embers everywhere. These people are from like Ohio. They'd never really been out west, so they didn't know that like weather can just change really quickly, and it kind of took everyone by surprise, and everyone was in a little bit of shock. And that was another one of those moments where I was like, oh man, I was just like watching the fire, and I was like, we're gonna start a forest fire, and this is gonna be terrible. So I remember just like dumping all the water that I could, just trying to put this huge fire out. That's when you're out there and something like that happens, you gotta be prepared.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Scary stuff.
Sure is.
All right, Dana, you got anything else?
No,
since I stole your
you stole my
question
competition.
Early.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was so excited because I signed up for a tournament. I was like, all right, what are we doing?
No, I think we just got to finish it off with a whole full ladle of water on the rocks.
Yes.
We got to cook beater.
Ollie got us started, but
Yeah,
I'll
he did.
finish us off here. Full ladle. We're doing full.
Yeah.
Spread it around.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna cook.
Boom.
Oh yeah. That feels great on the sunburn.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the cauliflower.
Ooh, baby. That's it.
Boom.
That'll clean it right out, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, boys. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for inviting me,
brother.
guys.
Thanks,
I really
Peter.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, we love you, Peter.
Yeah, glad to have
Look
you.
forward to seeing you around the
man.
gym.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can make
Absolutely.
it, if you can make it tomorrow morning, dude, it will be a day to remember.
It's in the morning.
It's in the
Yeah.
morning. 5:30, dude.
Can't swing it.
What?
work.
What do you got? A dentist appointment?
No, I live in surprise. I wish, man. If I was still in Scottsdale, I'd make it.
Yeah. Class is over at 7. Take you an hour in rush hour to get home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough.
Brutal. Yeah.
All right,
boys.
dude. Well,
All right, well, thank
next
you.
time we'll do an evening one.
Yeah.
So
Thank
All
you,
right,
ladies,
dude.
gentlemen.
I'm out.
We'll see ya. Peace.
Thank you.